Chaotic Good is one of the most popular alignments among budding adventurers. I think because players believe that they don't have to think too hard about whether their character's actions are good or evil. We know they're good. It says so, right there on the sheet. But also, chaos!
Glorious chaos.
I can say and do anything I want because chaos! Well, no, maybe, possibly. Benevolent Wildcard is a legitimate version of Chaotic Good, but if you want something that's deeper than just random actions of blah, 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 it could also be a character that core to who they are and what they believe is the idea that independence, free will, is the ultimate good. Hi, I'm James, and on this channel I talk about the things that I think about, plan, and plot for my tabletop role-playing games. And if you like that kind of content, there's buttons down there for like and subscribe. Today I'm thinking of the alignment of the Niave, the revolutionary, and the loner that doesn't fit in with society but has a heart of gold. Chaotic Good. For anyone that has not seen one of my alignment videos, I play characters both as a dungeon master and a player that do not think the same way that I do and they do not believe the same things that I do. And playing in primarily heroic fantasy kind of games, I am largely concerned with if a character had seconds to decide whether or not to act, what would compel them to do so? What's the character's gut reaction to a threat? If my players are interrogating a priest of Torm, an assassin of Despater, or a rebel Scoia'tael, they should feel different from each other, and I need to understand what those NPCs consider to be a threat and how they would respond to it. Would they give up information to save themselves? Would they lie to protect someone? Would they make a deal, or would they squeal? Alignment is the simplification of complicated morals and ethics, just as rolling a d20 to hit or miss an attack is a simplification of the complex nature of combat. Games simplify. Fiction and fantasy simplify. Alignment is in a fantasy game. It has to simplify to serve its purpose. If you don't find it useful to create complicated characters that are consistent in their morals, ethics, motivations, their values, characters that feel real, then don't use it if it's not useful to you. I define good at my table as compassionate and self-sacrificing. These characters are focused on the well-being of others. If there is a threat, they're going to think of others first, and it has to be more than just friends and family. Evil characters might have compassion for friends and family. Raceland did, Anakin did, Walter White did. For me to consider a character good, that compassion has to be beyond the immediate circle of friends and family. But I don't need them to be some kind of a saint either. They can accept accolades and rewards. That's just not why they went out and did whatever it is that they did. A good character goes out and does something because people need help. On the other axis between law and chaos, the chaos character is not just random. There's a method to their madness. The chaotic character believes that they should be able to be an individual, that they have free will. They shouldn't have to answer to gods, kings, or systems. The difference between the chaotic evil character and the chaotic good character is what they choose to do with that freedom. You may have heard of the problem of evil from maybe like Philosophy 101 class, or from the cleric who thinks they're deep, some YouTuber that thinks they're deep. It goes something like, if God is all-powerful and all good, why does evil exist? The chaotic good character believes because it must.
What is light without dark? I am a part of you all.
Because we have evil in a world of magic and dragons and Cthulhian horrors, we're going to have legitimate monsters. And some characters are going to choose to not act, do nothing. Others are going to actively do harm. But to the chaotic good character, if they didn't have that choice to help or do harm, then they weren't actually good. The chaotic good character has chosen to do good. If others choose not to, then there are consequences. The lawful good character that apprehends a bandit might legitimately let the bandit go if they promise to do so for information. Whereas the chaotic good character might not trust the bandit, in which case, the bandit already made their choice. Sure, if that bandit has shown some sign that they might change their ways, the chaotic good character might make the choice to let them go. But if there are people in the next town over that might be the bandit's next victim, then, sorry, bandit already made their choice. They already did bad. I'm going to do the most good for the most people. They're doing what they do for the greater good. With charm spells, vampires dominating, and doppelgangers that can just replace someone, the chaotic good character cannot sit around and wait for the law to figure out that it's being duped. Laws are systems to enforce behaviors. Systems can be twisted and manipulated. Justice is not a system. Justice is an action. If a corrupt baron evicted 100 villagers to build their brand new hunting lodge, the lawful good paladin might go and appeal to the king, the ultimate law in the land, while the druid might take them under their wing and organize food and aid, help them build a new village out in the woods. While the chaotic good ranger would start falsifying evidence, destroy the deed, burn down the lodge, maybe even kill the baron. We know he's guilty, why wait for the law to fail? I'll just do it. The chaotic good character looks at a legal system and sees a game designed to protect the powerful, full of loopholes, corruption, and bureaucracy to get in the way of doing what's right. That doesn't mean that they necessarily want to overthrow all authority figures, though. A chaotic good character might willingly follow King Arthur, for example, because they believe Arthur will try to do the best he can for the people of Camelot to protect them from whatever evils surround Camelot. They follow Arthur, not the crown. Within the chaotic good spectrum, we have the naive bard who believes that if there were no countries, no religions, there would be nothing to kill or die for. And we have the revolutionary ranger who's seen power go unchecked and they're willing to fight tooth and nail to tear it down. Both are chaotic good. They just differ in how much blood they expect to spill along the way. You can absolutely play the naive adventurer, but it is likely after a few sessions to wear thin on the group. They are probably going to tire of the character's simplistic decisions leading to a cost for the group in the long run. But you don't need to be a loose cannon either. Your character believes in a world without oppression. They're not stupid. Actually, that might not be true. Maybe your chaotic good character is stupid, low intelligence score, in which case, by all means, box the evil king with all the royal guards standing around. I'd actually have a lot of fun playing with that kind of cut-to-the-chase character, but not everybody is me. When your character's beliefs crash in with the real world, they can morph from naive to idealistic. They can now operate within the morally gray world of adventuring with the goal of making it better for the next generation. You can also play the revolutionary. That character can unexpectedly become the villain. Over the course of your adventures, they're going to grow in clout and power. They become an authority figure, and characters, the NPCs in the world, are going to expect them to use their might to fix wrongs, real or perceived. The chaotic good characters' trust in their own judgment can become arrogance. I know better than everybody else what is good and what is evil, and those people over there are planning to do evil. So in the name of the greater good, I am ordering you all to go over there and stop them. And if you don't obey me, that means that you're in league with them. You are also evil. There's not any kind of religious conviction or moral code, good or evil, guiding their actions, just personal impulse. So they're still chaotic. But now they believe that their own free will supersedes the free will of others. So now they're chaotic evil tyrant. Wherever your character is on the spectrum of chaotic good, they should have an almost instinctual reaction to anyone that is trying to deny the free will to others, the right to be an individual. How they react depends on what the action is and your character's strengths or weaknesses. Maybe there's a guard that just kind of passively expects obedience from your group, and that's annoying but not really worth your group's time, so your bard just delivers an underhanded comment and that's all there is to it. But maybe your group sees that guard abusing a dwarf for being a dwarf, so on an impulse your character decides to do something about it. They follow the guard into an alleyway and end him. Maybe your character doesn't have skills for that, so instead they try to preach to the masses, rile them up and get them to riot and overthrow their corrupt guards. Whatever your character is doing, they are doing it because they believe that someone has been denied their freedom, their right to express their free will. And whatever the cost, that is worth fighting for. Like chaotic neutral, there's a lot of characters that start here or they end here. Few characters actually stay chaotic good through the course of a story. Because some characters, their ideals don't survive once they meet the real world. And other kind of more rebellious characters, once they've gained power, they can't really rebel anymore and they change for good or ill. We could paint a character like Dumbledore in Harry Potter as chaotic good back when they were young and going along with Grindelwald.
But that's not why you went along. It was you who said we could reshape the world. That it was our birthright.
But by the time he meets Harry, I think he's more neutral good. He doesn't mind breaking rules if it's for a good reason. He breaks more than a few himself. but he understands that the rules are there for kind of general safety of the students that he's supervising. And he doesn't try to tear down the ministry, even when the ministry, through inaction, is going to cost lives. Sirius Black, though, I think he stays chaotic good throughout the course of the series. He has an understandable dislike of authority figures, and he seems to be willing to take matters into his own hands. When we meet him, he's on a quest for vengeance, and I think it's fair to say that he would have gone through with it had other characters not intervened. In Order of the Phoenix, he is absolutely protective of Harry, but he's also bitter about his lack of physical freedom and his inability to help the Order in a more active way.
I offered it to Dumbledore as headquarters for the Order. About the only useful thing I've been able to do.
His actions do ultimately save Harry's life, but I think a neutral good or lawful good character would have been more likely to caution Harry throughout the entirety of the book, rather than stoking the fires of rebellion in Harry that ultimately lead to the incident at the end of the book. For Malcolm Reynolds in Firefly, he's chaotic good.
So no more running. I aim to misbehave.
He fights against the Alliance conquest of the Independents, and when the Independents lose, he goes out to the Outer Planets because he chafes under the control of the Alliance.
Independents were a bunch of cowardly, inbred piss pots. Should have been killed off of every world spinning.
Most of the work that he takes so that his crew can survive is legally dubious at best. They're scavenging, smuggling, stealing, and they often end up killing people.
Darn.
The people that Malcolm and his crew are killing are not innocents. Many of them are involved in the illegal activities that he and his crew are often involved in. The other ones are trying to oppress either Malcolm, his crew, or the people that they come to care about. At least half the episodes are him and his crew sticking their neck out because someone is being oppressed and they feel the need to step in and defend those that cannot defend themselves. These characters in Firefly, like our characters in our D&D game, are living out beyond the edges of civilization. And here, justice is at gunpoint, or at sword point, and it's only going to be enforced if the people with power, the crew, or our adventurers, are willing to enforce it. Many of the characters in Westerns, from which Firefly draws its aesthetic, are romanticized as chaotic good. They are living out beyond the edges of civilization because they don't fit in back east, where there are societies, civilizations, authorities, bureaucracies that are trying to control how people live their lives. Many of the characters in shonen anime I would consider chaotic good. They certainly often flout authorities and just go off to fight whatever they impulsively decide that they've got to go fight. But I think for this example, I'll pick I pick Luffy because I want to contrast him with Jack Sparrow, who I call chaotic neutral. Jack helps people when he thinks there's something in it for himself, whereas Luffy helps people largely because they need help. Jack makes sure that he's going to come out ahead, whereas Luffy comes out ahead almost despite himself. There's no society, culture, or religion belief that guides Luffy beyond being a pirate and finding treasure is cool. And he doesn't like authority, otherwise he'd be in the Navy. And if you thought you could escape this episode without a Deep Space Nine character, you were wrong. I would call Kira Nerys a chaotic neutral character. She can't stand Captain Sisko or anybody else in authority until she gets to know them and trust them as a person. But she does have a moral compass that drives her to try to stand up for the downtrodden. As a member of the Bajoran resistance, she did terrible things to terrible people in the name of freeing her planet from an occupying force. I like her also particularly because she is a character that has a deep-seated faith, but that faith doesn't drive her to blindly trust the priests and the people in her religion. One of her primary antagonists is a priest of the Bajoran faith. There's also a great episode in Season 1 called Progress, where Kira is placed in the role of an authority figure, and she's told to relocate these farmers who definitely don't want to go. And Kira has a problem wanting to join their resistance against this authority telling them what to do, while knowing that the greater good in this case would be to relocate the farmers. It's a fantastic example of a chaotic good character struggling with their two axes: chaos and the need to rebel, and the need to do good for the most people. They are naive, reckless, often wildly inconsistent, and sometimes they're willing to commit dark acts because they believe it's in the name of the greater good. But they are also willing to stand up for others and their freedom. When laws, expectations, and customs cause others to falter, the chaotic good character stands up. It's about believing that people don't need laws to be good. Until next time, Dungeon Masters, remember you're a player too. Try to have some fun.
I can wait.